Hey, it's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Piston Pro Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on our 2021 Nissan Rogue Sport. The Piston Pro is a premium bike rack and it's got a lot of premium features that we'll get into. It's going to be able to support two bikes. It's a platform style rack, and the bikes that you're going to put on here can weigh up to 67 pounds, so it's good for your e-bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes, any kind of bike that you want to put on here, because it's going to be held through this dual wheel mount design. It's not going to be any frame contact, so if you want to mix and match, you definitely can, and it won't damage your frame while you're driving. So let's check a little bit about how it works. The first thing we're going to do is tilt the rack away, which you can do with both bikes loaded up. I will say though, if you have a bike loaded up in the front, it can make this lever a little bit difficult to get to because it's stored in between the trays, and we found that you kind of have to lift up on the rack in order to engage it. So when you do, it tilts pretty aggressively again, so if you do have another bike loaded up, I could see that being a little bit tricky to do. But once it is tilted, we have plenty of room. We can get back here. We can change our shoes before or after our ride if we need to, or we can grab anything out of the back that we're going to need for our ride. And we have plenty of space to do it. Tilting the rack back up can also be kind of a challenge because we don't like to make any contact with our bike. So you just kind of have to pull up at this point. And if you have two 67-pound bikes loaded up on there, I can see that being somewhat of a challenge. But with the bike up, now we can work on getting it off. To do that, we'll first point out another unique thing about the Piston Pro, that being the piston arms themselves. So if we press down on this button, that will release our hoops. So we'll have to do the front one first, and now we'll have to hold on to our bike. Or we'll do the back one first, and then we'll come up to the front one, press that, which disengages the piston, and the hoops go all the way down, giving us plenty of room to get our bike up and off. To get our arms back up, we first might have to disengage the piston again, but once you do, we can see that on the hoop there are adjustable settings, so you just pinch these points in the back. You can slide it up and down to accommodate different tire sizes if you need to. And you can hear those micro adjustments it makes as it ratchets down, which will, again, support your tire. The trays themselves are capable of supporting a maximum wheelbase of up to 53 inches. We'll have to press that release again to get this one up. And they are going to support a tire width of up to 5 inches right off the bat as well. So again, really robust, and they're going to support many different bike styles. Here on the tray, you can see that there is a lock core that is going to accept your cable lock. It's not integrated onto the rack, but it will accept the lock there if you want to get it around your tire and the frame of your bike to secure it on the rack. We'll grab a couple quick measurements too, just so you can see how much distance you're adding onto the back of your vehicle first. So from the bumper to the furthest point back in our case, it's going to be adding on just over 25 inches. So for what it can store and how it works, it's honestly not too bad. As far as the ground clearance goes, from the furthest point in the back here, it's going to be sticking up 19 inches. So it's got a pretty good rise in the shank. The Rogue doesn't sit super low, so I'm not going to be worried about ground clearance as far as bottoming out or hitting the ground going up hills or over curbs. If we want to, we can fold the rack up towards our car using that same lever we used before to cut down on some of that space that we added on. You hear it click into place, and now we can get that new measurement to see what that would look like. So from the bumper to the furthest point back now, it adds almost exactly a foot or 12 inches. It does sit a little bit close, so from the bumper, in our case, to the closest hoop, it's only going to be about 2 inches. But Kuat is really well designed, and that's about as close as it's going to get. As far as what it covers on the back of your vehicle, it really does sit pretty low, so our license plate is pretty much fully visible. Our backup camera is right here. You're going to have tons of room to see over the top of that. You'll see the rack at the bottom probably, and it'll let you know that it's there, but you have tons of room to see. It doesn't come anywhere near our taillights, but even if it did, if you have 4-pole wiring or you chose to get it, it comes with a light kit that just hooks up to that 4-pole wiring, so if that does for some reason become an issue for you, the Piston Pro has a solution for that too, and it doesn't come anywhere near our rear window. We have a 2-inch shank on this rack that's going to fit into our 2-inch hitch receiver. It's held in place by this pin with with the lock that's going to be key-to-like to that cable lock core that we have on the tray. It's all going to be held in place by the security anti-rattle bolt that stores on the rack. You just come up here, pop it off, you install it that way. So it's technically not tool-free, but you don't have to remember to bring the tool with you because it does store right on the rack. Overall, the Kuat Piston Pro is one of the most premium bike racks that we offer. Because of that dual wheel hoop design, all the additional features, tilting, folding, the wheelbase, the weight rating, everything that you have included on the rack gives it that premium feature, as well as the Kuat look and the finish. So if you do want something that's going to get your bikes where you need them to go in style, the Kuat Piston Pro is definitely a really solid option. If you don't maybe need all the features, but you do really like that dual wheel hoop design, you might want to check out something like the Rocky Mountain Guide Rail. Has a lot of similar weight rating and specs, has that dual wheel hoop design, but it's just going to be more of a value option. If you're looking for that premium option with the premium features though, it's hard to beat the Kuat Piston Pro. This was just a quick look at how it fits on our 2021 Nissan Rogue Sport.